It's time for Coffee on the Coast. Good afternoon and welcome to Coffee on the Coast. I'm your host this afternoon, Tina Prigge. I am delighted to be joined by Tim Gadzinski of the Manitowoc Public Library and Barb Bundy-Jost, and we are talking about the amazing Evergleam collection that is on display here in Manitowoc and how you're able to learn more about it through some upcoming events. Tim, Barb, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I love being here.
Thanks. It's so good to see you. And what a festive topic that we're talking about. I'm just going to put this graphic up really quick so people know. Enchanted Evergleams at MPL. They're on display November 20th through January 9th. And they've got a couple of upcoming opportunities where they can learn more about it. So, Barb, you're going to be giving an in-person presentation called Sparkle, the History of Aluminum Trees, and that's going to be at the Manitowoc Public Library. Mark your calendars. It is tomorrow, Thursday, December 2nd from 6 to 8 p.m. And then there's another chance where it's live on Facebook, Thursday, December 16th. Tell us more. This is so cool.
Well, it's going to be a walking tour in the nice heated area of the library. We're just going to take a walk through time. We're going to do some time travel. We'll talk about how this all started in the late 50s with a guy named Tom Gannon, and we're going to walk through all the key players that really helped develop the marketing and the sales of this tree. I think they thought it was going to be just a little blip in time, but it lasted 10 years and made really Manitowoc a sparkling place to be. So we'll do that. We'll walk through Fran's forest downstairs. She's got a representation from everything that ever happened with aluminum specialty and how they design trees, the colors of the trees, the different places they marketed the trees. And then we'll motor our way upstairs where we have a couple of vintage vignettes of living areas with the trees incorporated into those areas. And then we'll also look at some very rare wall decorations that the aluminum specialty put together. And then this year, to really kind of enhance the history, we did manage, Fran had the catalog from 1962, and I scanned all the images and the spec sheets last year. And the fine City Hall people, Jen over there, who I love, she made big posters for us so we can really see what those vintage catalog pages look like. They're on display on A Street, but here in the little area upstairs, as you come off the elevator in that hall, we have all the spec sheets and some more of those. And that's just very interesting information that we have to share.
It's so interesting and so unique because it's not just one tree or one kind of tree. You and your team have literally amassed hundreds of these original evergreen trees, and they're on display. There's a forest of them at the library. They're on display throughout downtown Manitowoc. There's another forest at the former Riverbank Lounge. This is so beautiful. How many trees do you estimate are in the library forest?
Well, I would say in the library forest, we've got to have 75 to 80 different trees. And then downtown, we have 36 businesses, and they each have, some of those businesses have their own trees, so they paid a fee to get on the map, because then we do our trolley tour and we talk about all those businesses and the trees they have in their windows. But I would say we have hundreds of trees up when you kind of count up everything, and it just continues to grow every year. And we're so very excited about that because, you know, this is a vital part of history that a lot of our young people don't have any idea what was happening here.
And is it safe to say that this display is really completely unique to Manitowoc? Like nowhere else in the world is this happening, where there's a whole forest of these original evergreen trees and this sort of educational experience?
No, I think we were very unique in that respect because it's home. It's home. They've come home. A lot of them have come home from other parts of the country and beyond. I mean, Canada has shipped a couple to this fine city, but I would say that it's nice when you have a homecoming for a lot of the trees, and we're talking about where they were originated and where they were manufactured, and the fact that we can celebrate really an innovative time in the space age and how that translated into our homes. And I mean, we have such a divine spot here on the lakefront, don't we? We have aluminum, we have space debris. I mean, what?
It's home of the Great Spirit. Home of the Great Spirit. Hey, Barb, you mentioned a trolley tour. Let's
Yeah.
tell viewers when that's happening if they want to, and I definitely think that they will want to
Right.
get on board and learn more.
And I would say they better hurry up. They're filling up fast. We start on Saturday night, the 4th of December. We have a 5 o'clock, a 6 o'clock, and a 7 o'clock trolley. And the library is really accommodating. They are opening a half an hour before the trolley tours so that those trolley patrons can come in, register, and see the exhibit here. And then we'll get them on the trolley and we'll do the tour downtown to those 36 different places that have the trees up. We'll do it again next Saturday on the 11th and the last Saturday, which is the 18th. We'll have those at 5, 6, and 7. And you can sign up for trolleys at our website, www.evergleams.org. And go to the shop, boom, right there, the trolleys are available and you can sign up and join us for some fun, frolicking, good time talking about the trees.
So cool. I got to go to the library yesterday where I saw Mr. Gadzinski and I got to see the forest of the trees. And
Who's Mr. Gadzinski? Was my deceased father there?
Yeah.
Well, it looked a lot like you. So I'm
okay, just clarify.
But it really is so beautiful to behold. Tim, what is it like for you to see that every day?
Well, it's phenomenal. After you had left and I had wrapped up for the day here, I was the only person in the library except for someone vacuuming. And it had been a long day for me at the library yesterday, but I lingered on the second floor balcony for about, 5 to 10 minutes, just kind of ambling back and forth and just looking at the trees. It's ridiculously cool. It's phenomenal. I can't believe that I get to see it every day. And I know it's seasonal, but if it was there all the time, I probably would have the same reaction. I don't think I would ever, deaden to the visual and just kind of atmospheric beauty of it. And I remember 2 years ago, pre-pandemic, during Holiday Melodies, we had a harp player play one Saturday, and she situated herself amidst the evergleams. And there were these 3 little boys that were just rowdy as all get out. And then she started playing, and they just kind of laid down on the floor and were staring at her and looking through books and then staring at her and then looking at the trees. It was one of the most magical things I've seen as far as like young boys behaving, for sure. But it was wonderful. And, I tried to get her to come back this year, but unfortunately, she's moving back overseas. So,
but
we are going to have music this Sunday during our holiday festival amidst the evergleams. So there is going. I think it makes everything better. That's my bottom line. Is what I think of it being here. I think it makes everything better.
I love the concept that there's this magic here on the coolest coast, and particularly for the holidays. Hey, Barb, so this collection, you've been amassing, over time. You've been finding them at garage sales and on eBay. Are you still managing to find treasures for your collection?
Oh, yes. Oh, my. They made a slim line. I was telling you before the show. It's kind of a Christmas tree on the Nutrisystem plan. It doesn't have that big fat diameter that the regular trees have. It's a little more modest in its diameter, and it came in 6.5, 5.5, and 3.5 foot lengths. And I do have a 5.5, and I do have a 6.5. And the baby came up for auction last week, and I'm like, I'm getting that 3.5 footer. We need to complete the family. And that little treasure is coming on Friday, so I can't wait to get that family together. But we have found the wall decorations are very rare, and I did manage to find 2 of those online. We just had one donated to our not-for-profit from our collector in Houston who donated one, and they're on the wall at the library. But I was on the radio not too long ago, and a former student texted me and said, my mom had a beauty salon on South 10th Street, and she had these on the wall. Are they worth anything? They were evergleam, and there were six, I think, of those wall decorations. And I said, yes, they are worth something. I said I would consider those treasures. So handle with care. And he said, these are family heirlooms. I will take good care of them. And I said, that's a good thing, because those are kind of outstanding treasures. And we do find, last year, a woman contacted me after our Facebook presentation that her father owned an auto store in Coffeyville, Kansas, and was at a trade show where the aluminum specialty sales reps were hawking the tree it was 1965. So it was the heyday. And they made a special tree just for that trade show that was 14 feet tall. And she said, we want it to come back home. And then, with the pandemic, it's taking its time coming home. But I do look forward to meeting her and bringing the tree back home. My friend Sue Jackie has a tree that we never knew existed that was made for the Savings and Loan in Two Rivers, and it's 10 feet tall. And that's on display right when you walk into the library. It's front and center. It's a big, beautiful, heavy, wonderful aluminum tree that's just sparkling. So Sue just said, well, I had an ad in the paper and they answered it, and I kind of tried to dicker with the price, but they wouldn't dicker. And so I said, okay, I'll pay it. And I said, it's just a great find. It's a great find, and it is authentic. It's an evergreen, so we embrace that every year, courtesy of my friend Sue.
I think it's fantastic that after the heyday of these trees, when a lot of them got tucked away and put into attics and garages and things, that there's this resurgence and this rejuvenated kind of appreciation, thanks to you and thanks to others raising awareness. And you also showed me before we went live on your phone a fun little tchotchke that someone found for you, which also seems to validate that it's not just us that have this appreciation, that this is something cool.
It is very cool. It's just a tiny little tinsel tree with a color wheel, and it's only about this, it's only about this big. Mm-hmm. But he found it in a fun little shop in Minnesota while he was visiting a daughter for Thanksgiving. And he said, I thought of you, and I'm giving you a little treasure. And I opened it up and I screamed a little bit, because that little rotating wheel actually works. You turn it on and it rotates, and that little tree turns red and green and yellow and blue, and it's just so magical. So, yeah, I mean, it's.
Is the tree stationary, or does it rotate?
Nope, the tree is stationary. The only way it would rotate is if I put it on something and went around and around. And around. I was just so. I said, thank you so much. He said, do you have one? I said, no, I don't have one. It's so awesome. But I do think there's a new respect for it. I think that our awareness is growing. I mean, back in the day, these were found in the dumpsters and in rummage sales until John Shimon and Julie Lindman wrote their book, Seasons Gleamings. And then in 2015, Steve Sear, who grew up in Manitowoc, started collecting trees because he was at the antique mall on Washington Street, and one thing led to another. And he's really the guy that went to the storefronts in 2015 and said, wouldn't it be kind of cool if you put a tree up and just kind of recognized? And it's taken a couple of years, but I think he's very thrilled to see where we've come in that short amount of time and how we're celebrating the trees. And then Fran Pfeffer, whose dad had a furniture store downtown, started collecting in 2014, and her collection's on the main floor at the library. And she has really the rarest of the rare, and so does Steve. I mean, those two give me a bad case of evergreen envy. They have cool stuff. So
Mary just messaged in and said they are just so beautiful, and I think we are all in agreement about that. Yeah. It's so beautiful that downtown Manitowoc is like bedazzled with these evergreen trees during the season, and it is definitely worth taking a look. Let's just remind people that the enchanted evergreens at the public library are on display November 20th through January 9th. And as you can tell, Barb knows a lot about this topic. And so you can learn more by joining her. There's going to be an in-person event called Sparkle, the History of Aluminum Trees. It's going to be tomorrow night, Thursday, December 2nd, from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Manitowoc Public Library. And then there's another opportunity. Sparkle, the History of Aluminum Trees, is going to be live on Facebook Thursday, December 16th from 6 to 8 p.m. I definitely think you're going to want to tune in. Let me just show you another quick snapshot of the Evergreen Forest at the Manitowoc Public Library. It is a sight to behold.
It is a sight to behold.
It is. And can I throw a quick, just a programming thing in for the Sparkle thing tomorrow night? Just so everyone's aware, this is not a seated event. You're going to show up, you're going to come into the library, and Barb will be guiding you through a stroll through the Evergreen Forest. And I think you had even talked about a stroll upstairs to look at the areas up there and the catalog.
Right.
So don't come expecting to just, rest on your laurels when you come, but it's well worth the stroll.
I think it will be. I think that there are some wonderful packaging things that were brought to the forefront. I mean, Corning used to team up with the aluminum specialty. They make glass bulbs, and then there was a package deal you could get. There's a package.
A lot of great mural stuff on display as well.
We've got the 3 different companies. We want to delineate the difference between Miro, aluminum specialty, and national tinsel. So we have a little representation from every one of those companies. You'll see what a Miro tree looks like versus an evergreen tree. And you'll see some of the national tinsel, which really, at the turn of last century, made us Tinsel Town. So you'll see all those wonderful things people have donated to the cause, and we're so very grateful. And we also love to hear the stories that come through the library about people who work there. A woman stopped and said, I made the bows for the bow tip trees one summer when I was in school. And she worked second shift, and that's all she did was wind the bows. And Jordan, one of the partners, Jordan actually has the Sasheen bow making machine. And so Jordan makes bows for the trees as well. And it's kind of fun to see this embracement. Embracement? Is that a word?
We're going with it. We're going with
it. We're embracing the past. And I mean, vintage for today, I call that, so that we take and celebrate that which has been is back in the forefront. So we're really, really happy to see that.
This is just another really cool example about the innovative programming that we have available to us here on the Coolest Coast, thanks to the Manitowoc Public Library. This is such a cool collaboration. And so viewers, I hope that you're able to check out this awesome presentation, Sparkle with Barb Bundy-Jost. You're going to delve into this, history of Manitowoc. And then you're also going to, I'm sure, leave in the holiday spirit. There's just no doubt.
You will sparkle.
We will sparkle. Well, and also on Barb's the virtual Sparkle, she's going to be joined by Darlene Wellner, who a lot of people know in this area for a variety of things, but they probably don't think of her as someone who worked for 3 years during the summer at the aluminum foundry making these trees to put herself through college. And they're going to talk about what that experience is like. And, people should know by now never to mention that they did anything interesting, because I'm going to pounce on it and figure out a way to use it. And if I'm not going to put it in a program, I'll find someone who can use it.
I can validate that sentiment, because I think everything you've asked of me, I've said, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. From the hoard house to sparkling.
Let's just clarify. You said hoard house.
Hoard. The hoard house.
Yes, gotcha.
Hoarda house. There we go.
Well, you guys are simply both treasures. I'm happy to know you both, and I'm so happy that you're active here in our community, because it's a better place thanks to both of you. Thank you for both coming on Coffee on the Coast and sharing this opportunity with the viewers. Wishing you both a very Merry Christmas.
Same to you. Thank you for everything you do, Tina, as well. I mean, don't leave yourself out of the equation. Even though you do have a problem about hiding amongst evergreen trees. That's a different story.
All right, folks. So tune in tomorrow night, Thursday, December 2nd, for Sparkle, the history of aluminum trees with Barb Bundy-Jost at the Manitowoc Public Library, followed by an live on Facebook event Thursday, December 16th, 6 to 8 p.m. And those evergreens are on display at the library through January 9th. Is that the same amount of time they'll be up through downtown Manitowoc?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Merry Christmas, everyone. Enjoy the evergleams and the season. Thank you for watching Coffee on the Coast.
Happy holidays, everyone.